You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. A new attorney for the alleged drunk driver that crashed into a Deer Park nail salon says a pre-existing injury may have been a factor in the deadly crash.
He has a leg injury to the right leg. Not during, he did not receive that during his time in the service, but that may have been a factor in this accident.
Now, Stephen Schwally's attorney says the 64-year-old has pins in his leg and ankle and says he could not take his foot off the gas. The crash happened at Hawaii Nail Salon back in June, killing 4 people and injuring others. Schwally pleaded not guilty to a 39-count indictment. And prosecutors say it's quite likely that New York City Mayor Eric Adams will face more charges. Now, federal prosecutors say they will file 2 additional charges and add co-defendants. Adams was charged in a 5-count indictment last week that included charges of bribery and fraud. The next court hearing is on November 1st. And a new study says Penn Station would need to expand in order to accommodate Amtrak's Gateway Tunnel project. Transportation reporter Alfonso Castillo has more on what this project is and what it will do to get done.
That the plan is underway to build a second tunnel under the Hudson River, doubling the capacity for Amtrak and New Jersey Transit trains. They've got to figure out how to handle all these trains inside Penn Station. The goal is to go from 24 trains an hour to 48 trains an hour. That probably means adding tracks at Penn Station. And this study aimed to figure out essentially where you're going to put those tracks.
Now, a study commissioned by Amtrak, the MTA, and New Jersey Transit looked at 4 different options that could potentially accommodate this project. So, what did the studies find?
Is expanding beneath Penn Station. This would be essentially digging out more land underneath Penn Station to add more tracks. Another option actually would be reconfiguring the existing tracks, maybe even reducing the number of tracks, but changing the configuration so trains don't stop at Penn Station for a very long time. It's what they call through running. So it would go from being a terminal to just being a stop along the way. Ostensibly, Long Island Railroad trains would continue on to New Jersey, where they can serve more stations there and turn around in New Jersey. The same would happen in reverse. So trains wouldn't stay at Penn Station that long, and you can move more trains in and out.
Now you can read more about this study and what happens next. Just go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And Suffolk officials are introducing new technology that can analyze more than 500 types of drugs.
It's going to save our police officers' lives so that they're not exposed when they're handling these drugs at drug raids, overdoses. I think it has the potential of saving the lives of people that have overdosed.
Now, the analyzers allow for drugs to be tested without coming into physical contact with them. This can protect officers and residents from substances like fentanyl and also keep evidence intact. Now, there will be one of these devices in each precinct. And the emergency road and head of the harbor is now officially open.
The stranded residents on Mill Creek Road are no longer stranded. There's now access by emergency vehicles. They can drive their own cars here. They can get deliveries.
Now, the mayor says the road was built in just a week and 7 homes were left stranded after a major storm in August. An evacuation order that was issued to those residents was lifted today. A new study says children's eyesight is getting worse, and researchers say 1 in every 3 children worldwide is now nearsighted, and that number is expected to rise. Joining us now is Daniel Sear, pediatric ophthalmologist at Stony Brook Medicine. So, Dr. Sear, why are more kids nearsighted nowadays?
Sure. So it's a bit of a multifactorial problem. There's genetic predisposition for people who have parents who are nearsighted. So as myopia has been increasing, there have been more people who have been nearsighted. They're having children, and those children are at more risk for being nearsighted. And then also a big risk that we have nowadays, and we have seen, is increased near work. This is secondary, just a lot of it happened after the pandemic when people were being on computers. But even before that, there's been a transition to using iPads and computers in the classroom, and then children are consuming their games and media outside of the classroom on computers and tablets and things like that. And all of that has been shown to increase myopia.
What are you seeing with children when it comes to here on the island?
So, similar things here on the island as we see elsewhere in the world. Lots of kids coming in with blurry vision and or headaches. And the reason for their headaches oftentimes is that they have uncorrected nearsightedness, myopia, and that's causing their headaches. So I see a lot of that, kids coming in with complaints of headaches and leaving my office with glasses.
So what should parents know about all this? What advice do you have for them?
Something that I tell all my parents when kids come in and they get their first pair of glasses and they're nearsighted is that, they can reduce the amount of time that they're on their tablets, on the computers, on their phones, anything like that, and get more time outside, the better.
All right, Dr. Daniel Sear, thank you so much for joining us. And you can find more stories that impact your health at Newsday.com. Two Long Island sisters are taking steps to prevent breast cancer. Beth Whitehouse has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
A mastectomy is not a boob job, it's an amputation. So I think that's a very important distinction to make.
Long Island sisters Amy Lynn and Danielle Safety each had both breasts removed in their 20s before they even had any signs of breast cancer. They had inherited a gene mutation that gave them an 87% chance of developing breast cancer in their lifetimes.
So I decided to have a prophylactic double mastectomy at 29 years old, but it's not just a one and done type of thing. That was my first of 5 procedures in order to reconstruct my chest post-surgery.
A way to kind of describe it for the layperson to understand is basically like a pumpkin being carved. So carving the inside of a pumpkin out, meaning carving all of the breast tissue out of the skin that surrounds it, which would completely or almost nearly eliminate your risk of developing breast cancer. My mom had cancer, so with cancer, most of the time comes with chemo and radiation, losing your hair, being completely bald, chronic fatigue, nausea, no appetite, and watching my mom kind of go through that. I personally never wanted to be in a similar situation.
The family was surprised to find out it wasn't Mom who passed the daughters the mutated gene.
Well, they did the testing, and I'm the one that had it.
Were you shocked?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it. With Guy, you don't think about breast cancer. So yeah, I was shocked. And then I started thinking about, my dad's like, well, my sister Vicky had it, my sister Celia had it, and then their daughters had it. It's like, yeah, it came from his side.
David says he felt responsible for his daughter's pain.
Yeah, I felt very guilty. But, what can I do about it? It's a gene, right?
Actually, in 2024, there is something the sisters can do to eliminate the mutation in future generations.
I decided to undergo 2 rounds of cryopreservation, which is also known as egg freezing. That way, in the future, when I'm ready to have a family, I could eventually test my embryos to see if they carry the mutation, and I can selectively eliminate the mutation from my family tree.
For Newsday TV, I'm Beth Whitehouse.
It's pretty incredible. Now, to read more about this story, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. It was a gorgeous fall day, so let's take a look at your Long Island weather. I went for a walk outside and it was just perfect. You can see tonight we are in the 50s. Tomorrow we're near 70s, but we do have those clouds overhead. Take a closer look at tomorrow. You can see clouds pretty much all day and those temps a little bit elevated and again near 70s. Take a look at your 7-day forecast though. Looks like we're dry throughout the week until Monday. And again, temps in the 70s. This is nice for October, huh?
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC. More than 70 suspicious deaths have gone unsolved on Long Island over the last 48 years. Newsday investigates how law enforcement is trying to bring closure to victims' families. The Forgotten, an exclusive Newsday investigation. Coming soon at Newsday.com.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Bufa. Thank you so much for joining us.